You just heard less than 20 minutes ago the President of the United States say the 5 Gitmo prisoners who were swapped for Sergeant Bo Bergdahl could return to fight. So if that is the case, why did he do it if there was even an inkling that they would be doing this? Joining us right now is the former commander of all CIA forces in eastern Afghanistan and the Kabul station chief, Gary Bernstein, who at one point had these prisoners in his custody. You heard the president. What's the benefit by this type of steep, unbalanced exchange?
It's hard for me to believe there's any benefit. There is no benefit for this. This is a huge political victory for the Taliban.
A huge political victory for the Taliban, as best demonstrated by the celebration video we saw as they returned to Qatar to be observed by the Qataris, who are known for their security. Let's take a look at this video. You saw them in the beginning of the war. You know what these guys are like and the blood that's on their hands. What's your reaction to this embrace?
Well, look, clearly, you know, this is a propaganda video demonstrating the Taliban's political victory over the United States. This is being broadcast across the Middle East. You know, Al Jazeera is a big station, but all the stations it's being played on. So, I mean, it's part of, you know, they have a pretty sophisticated political machine, propaganda machine, and that's what this is. So and it's unfortunate that, you know, American policymakers, this administration didn't understand fully the implications of what they were doing. Gary, I really don't think they understood how this thing was going to go.
How could they not understand? I mean, is there any? Did the CIA read into this? Has the DNI read into this? Has anybody factored into this decision?
I don't think anybody other than the White House would have been involved in making this decision. I don't believe anyone in the CIA or in the national security apparatus outside the White House would have signed on to this. I mean, it's inconceivable to believe that anybody would sign on to this.
They'll be watched by Qataris, and we'll be having eyes on them. What's he talking about?
Well, I usually put eyes on my grandchildren when I go to Washington, D.C. to visit my daughter. I don't know how they're going to watch them. The Qataris have a very small security service. They're not known for having an aggressive internal security apparatus. These guys will be at the pool. They'll be doing political meetings. And after 1 year, they're going to fly back to Pakistan, and they'll be senior members of the Quetta Shura executing war against America.
And what would you do right now if you're the incoming president of Afghanistan, if it's Abdullah, who's actually friendly to the West, as Karzai goes out to pasture? What are we saying to him?
Well, Abdullah is a pretty sophisticated guy. You know, he was the foreign minister of the Northern Alliance when we took power, so I had a lot of one-on-one dealings with him. Either he or Ashraf Ghani, the other guy who's in the campaign, who was an aide to David Petraeus, both of them will be desperate to establish a strong relationship with the United States. Both of them recognize the need for America to be there because we're both the supplier of military support to them and financial support. They are, look, the Afghan government collects enough money in taxes to give each of its citizens a 6-pack of Coca-Cola. It can't pave its roads. It can't pay its teachers. It can't pay for the army or the police. They are aid dependent on us.
I want you to bring us inside some of these guys. Mohammed Nabi, who served as chief security for the Taliban over in Afghanistan. Abdul Haq Wazik, who served as the Taliban deputy minister of intelligence. Who's he?
Wazik is the senior-ranking intelligence officer in Afghanistan right now. I mean, he was his boss, Qari Ahmadullah, was his father-in-law, was killed by an airstrike. He's the ranking intelligence officer. He will play a major role in conducting attacks on us, in the political dealings against us. Look, these guys are major players, and as someone had said yesterday on television, this is Mullah Omar's kitchen cabinet that's been just given back to him.
But you're not kidding, and here's the thing, Gary. They may be evil. They may be diabolical. They may diminish the existence of women on this planet, but they actually know how to run a government. They actually have jobs and organization ability. This is the worst skill set that we could possibly have out of Cuba.
It's still really hard to believe that this was executed in this way. There had to have been another way. We had years of this. Unless the administration sort of indicated to the Taliban that the deal was, you know, we were willing to do the deal, we should have found a way to buy him back, you know, secretly. We could have stolen him. They didn't make the efforts that they could have over the year to execute this. I'm just horrified by the whole thing here.
I'm concerned we're going to get up one day and we're going to find out Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's now in Bermuda.
Yeah, there's a precedent here that's been established that's not a good one, and we're all going to have to work doubly hard to ensure the security of Americans around the globe.
And when the president was a state senator, you guys were out there rounding these guys up, putting your lives on the line, many losing their lives, and now they're out and free now that he's president. That must be a tough pill to swallow. Gary Bernstein, thanks so much for joining us.
Pleasure.